ongoing strike. Ekiti driver bags life imprisonment for rape. Nigerians demand justice for Sokoto students lynched over alleged blasphemy. Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us on the news at 7. I am Obi Chukwemeka Oti. The National and State Houses of Assembly Elections Petitions Tribunal panel has issued a notice of inaugural sitting for the 2022 election in Akure. In a statement by the Secretary of the panel, Mr. Segun Awujobi, the tribunal said it will hold its maiden sitting tomorrow, May 13th, 2022. Ondo State Government has engaged the expanded state executive councils of labor unions on the state of the health insurance scheme for civil servants tagged Oranges. The Director General Ondo State Contributory Health Commission, Dr. Abiodun Yeneyin, said the exercise is necessary to keep the workers abreast on the need to embrace the scheme for their health benefits. Omorola Ugbenji reports that the meeting, which was held in Akure, the state capital, had in attendance stakeholders in the health sector, union leaders, as well as government representatives.
On the 6th of February 2018, Ondo State Governor Arakunrin Oluwarotimi Akeredolu signed into law the State Contributory Health Commission and the State Contributory Health Scheme with the aim of ensuring residents of the state are healthy with access to affordable and quality healthcare services. To this end, the Commission has come up with a scheme targeted at civil servants to ensure that the state has more of healthy public servants. Director General, Ondo State Contributory Health Commission, Dr. Abiodun Yeneyin, while addressing the expanded state executive councils of labor unions on implementation of the Oranges, said it is a partnership which should involve the contributions of all to improve the health of all the public servants in Ondo State.
Yeah, assuring each and everyone that Mr. Governor has put in a process for all our hospitals to function perfectly well, and we're also going to work with private hospitals. So I can assure everyone that let's put hands, let's support the government.
Head of Service, Niro Adiyemo, lauded the initiative, saying it will go a long way in managing the health of workers in the state.
Hospitals in Ondo State will have more equipment to operate. All of us who serve will no longer have terrible problem of health management, including our children and spouses.
Commissioner for Health, Banji Ajaka, Special Advisor to Governor on General Matters, Dari Aragbaye, and other stakeholders maintained that government is determined to make life habitable for workers by equipping the health facilities across the 3 senatorial districts of the state.
By the time we start, having the benefits of this program, I think everybody will be praying for Mr. Governor.
The state government is solidly behind workers, solidly. I will continue to do everything that will make you performing your duties effectively and efficiently.
The management is going to be effective so that we can achieve the quality of care.
State Chairman, Nigeria Labour Congress, Sunday Adeleye, advised health experts not to play politics with the scheme.
We're not unaware of the fact that, as good as it is, there might be some problems maybe in the implementation. That's why we labor leaders are trying to say, okay, we want to be part of it. We want to see that things are done the way it should be done, so that I won't go to a hospital, complain of malaria, and they'll give me a chalk called paracetamol.
Some civil servants at the meeting applauded the state government for the initiative.
We are looking at the circumstances of what is going on in the country. The situation is not all that palatable. But with this, I think it can ease what we are going through when it comes to the issue of health.
The development is good. If we are able to key into it, because after retirement you will still benefit from it.
1.2% of workers' monthly salary would be committed to the scheme, while the workers, spouses, and 4 biological children are expected to benefit from the package. Omoriola Hungbiji, OSRC News.
Ondo State government has assured property owners at Ajegunle, Iluabo on Akure-Owo Expressway that it will do everything possible to compensate them. The State Commissioner for Lands, Housing and Infrastructure, Mr. Raimi Aminu, spoke while pasting government notice to acquire the land in line with the Land Use Act. Zihimo Ibieme has more.
According to the Land Use Act, government reserves the right to require its landed property for socio-economic development. It is in accordance with this that Ondo State government reacquires a portion of land at Ajegunle, Iluabo for public interest. The state government is proposing to site Medical City, neighboring markets, among others in the area. The Ondo State Commissioner for Lands, Housing and Infrastructure, Mr. Raimi Aminu, assured residents that government will do everything possible in developing the land and its people.
Part of the process is to get approval. After the approval, the survey of the area, and we serve acquisition notice. That's what we're going to do to carry out today with our men and other stakeholders. So from the feedback I got, large number of them collected and signed.
Director of Lands and Services, Akin Akimola, explained the essence of pasting government directives on various houses in the area.
Let us know what you have on the land, whether you have crops, whether you have building on the land, so that government can compensate you, that you will not be at loss. So that is it. We are doing what is called sensitization information, that people who have property on the land, they will be aware of government intention to use the land for the good of the people.
Olu of Eleyewo Agumbiade appealed to the people of the area to remain calm and cooperate with government.
If the government is coming back to reacquire the land, it's the duty of government to do what they want to do. So,
some of the areas visited include Eleyewo, Iluabo, Ajegunle, and other neighboring communities along Akure-Owo Expressway. Zihimo Ibieme, OSRC News.
As part of ongoing efforts to rid Lagos State of distressed buildings, the State Building Control Agency says it has marked over 10 structures in the state for demolition. A statement by the head public affairs unit of the agency, Adetayo Ashagba, said the buildings were marked for being structurally distressed and unsafe for habitation. The development came on the heels of the demolition of a distressed building located at a Butemeta area of Lagos State. The agency's general manager, Mr. Bolan Oki, during the enforcement exercise, commended the efforts of the community leaders, youths and residents of the areas for cooperating with the enforcement agents of the agency. He said that the move had become imperative to rid the state of inhabitable structures, promote standards and attain a livable, organized and sustainable built environment. To politics now. President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered all heads of agencies, departments, parastatals and ambassadors with political ambition to resign. In a circular, the president directed his instruction to the office of the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, among other agencies. The circular was signed by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa. Meanwhile, Bayelsa State Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Dennis Otiotio, says former President Goodluck Jonathan is not yet officially a member of the APC in the state. According to him, Jonathan could only join the APC if he had been formally granted a waiver by the national chairman of the party, Adamu Abdullahi. Otiotio spoke amid speculations that the former president had joined the APC in his Ogbia community, Ogbia ward in Bayelsa. The state APC chairman, however, described Jonathan as a big fish and an elder statesman, saying it would be great if he decides to formally move to the ruling party. From politics to education, President Muhammadu Buhari has appealed to the Academic Staff Union of Universities to consider the plight of students and call off the ongoing strike. In a statement by the president's spokesman, Femi Adesina, President Buhari also urged students in Nigeria's public tertiary institutions to exercise patience as the government strives to address the nagging issues in the nation's university system within the ambit of the resources available. He made the appeal at the 19th National Productivity Day and the conferment of the National Productivity Order of Merit Award to 48 eminent Nigerians and organizations in both the public and private sectors for their high productivity, hard work, and excellence. In another development, a civil rights organization under the aegis of Global Youth Skills Acquisition and Poverty Eradication Organization has said the federal government should address its face-off with the Academic Staff Union of Universities before the 2023 elections to avoid bloodshed among students. While warning that students could be used for election violence and thuggery, the organization said the advice became pertinent because an idle mind will be the devil's workshop. The chairman of the group and human rights activist Emmanuel Ozegbe, who gave the warning during a press conference in Abuja, said a resolution of the impasse between the government and ASUU would return students to schools ahead of elections. He warned that students could be ready tools for violence in the hands of politicians during general elections. Still on the ASUU strike, students of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State, took to Ife-Ibadan Express Road as they protest school closure resulting from the ongoing strike action of the Academic Staff Union of Universities. The students who converged at their campus gates this morning marched down to the major highway which connects commuters traveling from Ife to Ibadan and vice versa. It was gathered that the students who converged under the aegis of Fund Education Coalition vowed to continue the protest from today till their demands are met by the federal government. The students held placards bearing various inscriptions like "Fund Education Now," "Education is not a scam," among others, as they chanted "End ASUU Strike." You're watching the news at 7. We'll go on a break now. When we return, we'll serve you more stories. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 7. You can watch us live on our website, www.osrc.ng, or follow us on Facebook, OSRC TV Ondo, and on YouTube, you can subscribe to our channel, OSRC TV Ondo. Now, continuing, Nigeria's Institute of Animal Science says it remains on course to drive professionalism and welfare among animal scientists in Nigeria. The registrar of the institute, Professor Eustace Iyayi, said this at the maiden edition of a town hall meeting of stakeholders in Southwest Zone 2, comprising Ondo, Ekiti, and Osun states held in Akure. Said Aribisala reports that the institute also restated commitment to harnessing the potential of animal husbandry for economic gains and livelihood of people, and invariably contribute to the national economy.
Its drive towards repositioning the sector, a Southwest Zone 2 stakeholders meeting with the registrar was organized in Akure, Ondo State capital. The registrar and Chief Executive Officer, NIAs, Professor Eustace Iyayi, in his address, intimated the stakeholders on the strategic and implementation plan for year 2022 to 2026, as well as related developments in the industry, academia, and government sector. Professor Iyayi noted that the institute is pushing for the unbundling of Faculty of Agriculture in schools, as well as beaming its light on practices in animal husbandry.
We'll be working tremendously in that area with regulations and guidelines that can help to standardize our operations in our various subsectors of the livestock, from feed to the animal and then to the products. We've been working assiduously in the area of helping to make sure that the graduates that we produce from the universities, they are well skilled. So we do resource verify the departments of animal science to ensure they have good facilities for training as well as the personnel.
The Southwest Zone 2 Development Officer, Dr. Francisca Riche, said the institute is collaborating with state governments in the region to harness the potential in this sector.
Our Southwest Zone 2 has a lot of potential. In line with the national agenda, we also see a lot of work being done by the state government, Ondo state government. It's huge. We have the Piggery village currently running. And we're currently setting up dairy production with them in certain aspects. And of course, more will be open after this visit.
Representatives of Ondo, Ekiti and Osun states noted that the town hall engagement, which deliberated on salient issues, will increase the productivity of animal scientists.
One of the messages we are taking home now is that the MCP, mandatory compulsory professional exam, will be feasible by June, by May, June, and July this year.
So the government is highly interested in livestock production in the state and is doing that and is moving the livestock sector forward in Ondo State.
He has said so many things about partnership, even to the international community.
Some of the issues deliberated upon include the scheme of service in various states and the place of animal scientists, increasing the presence of the institute in more states in Nigeria, as well as equipping members with requisite skills and opportunities. With over 8,000 members across 12 zones in Nigeria, the professionals are confident that engagements like this will help the institute achieve greater heights while contributing to Nigeria's diversification drive. Sahid Aribisala, OSRC News.
To crime-related stories, an Ado-Ekiti High Court has sentenced a 25-year-old driver, Tokwe Ojolo, to life imprisonment for raping a student of the College of Education, Ikere-Ekiti, now Bamidele Olumilua University. It was gathered that Ojolo was also sentenced to 21 years imprisonment for robbing the student of 50,000 naira. The convict was arraigned on 2 counts of rape and robbery. The State Counsel, Olawale Fakponda, called for witnesses and tendered the statements of the defendant, a medical report, statements of the victim, and the paint bucket used during the act, among others, as exhibits. During his judgment, Justice Lekon Ogumoye said he found the convict guilty as charged and accordingly convicted him of robbery and rape. Ogumoye sentenced Ojolo to 21 years imprisonment on count of robbery and life imprisonment on count of rape. He ordered that the terms run concurrently. In the meantime, Nigerians have demanded justice for a yet-to-be-identified female student of Shehu Shagari College of Education in Sokoto State after she was mobbed and burnt by some students of the school for allegedly insulting Prophet Muhammad. This is as the school's management also directed the immediate closure of the school following the incident. The incident was said to have taken place earlier this morning. The female student, it was learned, was beaten to death and subsequently burnt by Muslim students in the school for blasphemy. Outraged by the incident, Nigerians on Twitter asked the Sokoto State Governor, Aminu Tambuwal, and other relevant stakeholders to ensure justice is served on the matter. Outside Nigeria, the leaders of the United States and China have welcomed Ferdinand Marcos's presidential win in the Philippines after the son of the country's former dictator declared victory and pledged to be a leader for all Filipinos. U.S. President Joe Biden congratulated Marcos Jr. in a phone call, underscoring that he looks forward to working with the president-elect to continue strengthening ties with the Philippines, a long-standing treaty ally of Washington. Biden said he wants to expand bilateral cooperation on a wide range of issues, including the COVID-19 pandemic, climate crisis, economic growth, and respect for human rights. China's President Xi Jinping also spoke with Marcos Jr., stressing that the two countries had been partners through thick and thin. The Philippines sits on the front lines of U.S.-China tensions, while some analysts saying Marcos Jr.'s win spells a potential blow to efforts by the U.S. to push back against China, its main strategic rival in the Pacific. The death toll of COVID-19 in the U.S. has surpassed 1 million people. According to records, Johns Hopkins University, the World Health Organization believes the true number of fatalities could be even higher. The U.S. had the world's highest recorded death toll. Doyin Ayebusi reports.
More than 1 million lives cut short across America. This is the only way to visit them now. Laura's father, Alfredo, got COVID while nursing at a rehabilitation facility just as the pandemic was ripping through New York. For 3 weeks, he battled to stay alive, but the virus proved tough.
My dad is leaning in and holding my hand, just about to blow out our birthday candles.
Laura had to say goodbye wearing a art mask suit. 2 years later, she said she misses his jokes and pranks and hasn't ill from the sudden death.
I feel like I don't want to, that pretending that he's still kind of around, and because his presence was so ginormous that I still feel it, that it's hard to accept that he's actually not here.
More than 40,000 people have died in the city, the scene of the first major outbreak in the United States. During the scariest months, mob couldn't keep up with the fatalities. Bodies were buried in mass graves. Nothing ever paralyzed the city this way.
This used to be my bed for almost a year during the COVID because I didn't want to get my family sick.
Nurse Flandesia was aware of the risk of her job. It hit home harder after her close colleague became the first nurse to die in New York's public hospital from COVID. She said even though COVID cases are now manageable, they are facing another crisis, a shortage of staff.
Supposed to have 1-2 patients, you're taking care of 5 patients. In an intensive care unit, it's unheard of. I've been a nurse for over 35 years. And I've never, ever seen that in my lifetime.
COVID's tragic legacy will be felt for generations. 1 million dead is an incomprehensible number, but has given a chance to prepare the U.S. for change in the next outbreak. Oladoyin Ayebusi, OSRC News.
To round off the news tonight, here again are the major points. Ondo State government has assured property owners of adequate compensation on Iluabo land acquired for public use. We also told you that President Muhammadu Buhari has appealed to varsity lecturers to end ongoing strike. Ekiti driver has been sentenced to life imprisonment for rape. And Nigerians have demanded justice for Sokoto students lynched over alleged blasphemy. That's it on the news tonight. Thank you so much for your time. Good evening.